What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of On the Break. We have a good one coming to you. I hope everyone is having a great week. Today, we're going over the big trade that happened this past week. Pascal Siakam going to the Indiana Pacers, and we will break down that trade from both the Indiana Pacers perspective and also the Toronto Raptors perspective. But before we get started, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. If you are on YouTube and you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and comment down below. And if you are new, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you don't miss any basketball content like this. We have clips of our show on YouTube, but we also have other content like NBA breakdown videos where we break down film or NBA recaps where we recap games throughout different weeks of the NBA season. If you like podcasts, then you are in luck. This is actually our first episode that we will post as a podcast. So if that is more of your style, go check out our podcast feed on Spotify under On the Break. So let's get into some basketball. The Raptors traded Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers, and the Raptors got Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks in return for Pascal. So, Trevon, what do you think of this trade from the Indiana Pacers and also the Raptors standpoint?
Yeah, so I think the Indiana Pacers are really trying to take a leap forward as far as, trying to be a part of contention in the Eastern Conference. I think they've shown that they can compete against the league's best. Obviously, having multiple wins against the Milwaukee Bucks this NBA regular season and in the in-season tournament, and then the performance that they had against the Boston Celtics in the in-season tournament, and they played them very well again in the regular season. I can't remember if they won that game or not, but they played the Celtics recently again in Indiana. So you know that they at least play very well at home. They play good on the road as well. They had a big win in that in-season tournament with the pool games against the Celtics, and just throughout the regular season, we've seen them go to Milwaukee as well and play very well there. So I think they're showing good signs of being able to compete against the league's best, especially in the Eastern Conference. And I think this is a move that you give Tyrese Halliburton a bona fide star where you have somebody else that can help him carry the load, because we see a lot of teams trying to start to really key in on Tyrese because he is the offensive engine that makes this offense go. We know they like to get up and down. I think they're second in the league as far as pace, which is also another interesting thing. They were behind the Toronto Raptors as far as getting out in the break and scoring. And Pascal Siakam was a big contributor to the success of the Toronto Raptors in transition. So it's almost like a perfect fit for him to be coming to the Indiana Pacers that play a similar brand style of basketball. But Pascal was missing that star player. Some people are projecting for Tyrese to be an all-time great in this league. So if you give him a partner such as Tyrese Halliburton and vice versa, give Tyrese Halliburton a partner such as Pascal Siakam, you can only imagine that it will elevate each other's games. And I like this move, especially as a small market team. I know this gives a lot of small markets a lot of hope as far as being able to compete and have opportunities to compete against the bigger teams and get players of that stature. Pascal Siakam, we wouldn't put him in that number one tier as far as star players, but he's up there. He's a multiple time All-Star. He's a guy that a lot of teams really wanted, and a lot of teams could have used him. And the fact that he's in Indiana is giving these smaller markets hope. So I really like it a lot. I think it's a great fit. I don't think it'll really disrupt any rhythm that they have going on. Pascal can get his own shot. He can spread the floor. He's an athlete, and he's a veteran who has been there in the playoffs and won a championship. And if you're Tyrese Halliburton, you can't really ask for more. I did like Bruce Brown, so losing him will be kind of tough for them, especially since defensively the Pacers are not graded that well, so at least so far this regular season. But I think it's a fair return to get a higher upside player and Pascal Siakam, who's more of a veteran and can really be a more reliable offensive piece as far as a running mate that fits Tyrese's game, who was your franchise player. So I really like it for them a lot.
Yeah, no, I definitely like it from the Indiana Pacers standpoint, and you just touched on a few points, but I really think that this is a great fit for Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. That pairing together, I think they will go hand in hand. You mentioned Pascal is one of the top scorers in terms of fast break points. And we all know that Tyrese Halliburton likes to push the break. He likes to get his teammates involved and kick it up in on the fast break to get easy baskets. So that's a great fit there. Pascal is also a great cutter. And again, Tyrese Halliburton loves to hit his teammates, and if they cut to the basket or if they are forcing the defense to rotate and hitting them on the perimeter for jump shots and things like that. So that'll be a great fit. And then also, Pascal is a great post up player and isolation player. So it gives the Indiana Pacers another dynamic to their offense that they could go to late in games or throughout the game. And it just gives the defense something else that they have to guard. So I think that can be an addition or something that Pascal can add to this offense as well. And then we talk about the defensive end. The Indiana Pacers have not been great on the defensive end. I think that that is a little bit of both them struggling on defense as a team, but also the fact that they play at such a high rate in terms of getting up and down the floor. They play at such a fast pace. So if you are getting up a lot of shots, you're going to also give up a lot of possessions as well. But at the end of the day, they do need to get better on defense and they do need to play better defense. I think that having Miles Turner as the rim protector in this day and age, it does help, but I think he kind of struggles when you pull him out in terms of now the NBA goes to more of the screen and roll with pull up jump shots, especially from the three pointer from your point guard. So that brings Miles Turner out from the paint a lot in a lot of situations. Now you have Pascal on the back end helping over and trying to protect the rim when Miles Turner has to go out and guard the pick and roll and things like that. So I think having Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam is going to be great from the defensive end. And then you still have Naismith. So imagine Naismith, Pascal, and Miles Turner in the same lineup. So I think that would be great for the Indiana Pacers on the defensive end as well. And I think offensively, it's a great fit there. So I think this was a great trade for the Indiana Pacers. What do you think about the Toronto Raptors from their standpoint?
One more point on the Pacers before I move on to the Raptors.
Yeah.
Right now, they're currently sitting at the 7th spot, which would currently, if the season ended today, would match them up with the Milwaukee Bucks. And as we mentioned before, they've been giving it to Milwaukee all season. So you expect them to be able to rise a little bit, especially with how close honestly, the 2 through 7 spot is in the Eastern Conference. It's like a 5 game difference. You expect them to make a rise, but if they were to stay in the 7th spot and match up with a team like the Bucks or the Sixers or the Cavs, I give them a very good chance as far as being able to beat those teams. So just another to add another point, I think they're in a pretty good spot as well.
Yeah, just
But
to go off of that though, I know you predicted the Indiana Pacers to, make a big jump this year. So I think with this trade that is going to help out, that point,
yeah,
and I think that they will make the I don't think that they will have to go through the in-season tournament. I think that or not the in-season tournament. I don't think that they will have to go in through the play-in tournament to make it into the playoffs. I think that they will get one of those top six seeds now, especially since they
yeah.
made that trade for Siakam.
Yeah, for sure. Like right now, they're tied with the Heat as far as record. So, like, depending on what the Heat do, they've been playing pretty good basketball. It seems like every year they
Yeah.
find a way to continue to win. That's just a, you know, testament to the makeup of all those guys on that roster and how they continue to play hard and things of that nature. But I mean, you could see them jumping them. The Knicks started off hot after that trade for OG. But I can see them catching them. They're only 2 games behind. Cavaliers may trade Donovan. You don't know how they'll end up. So there's a chance there for sure. But
Cavs
to
have been
answer,
playing really good the past few games though. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. And if they were to match up against them, I'm still taking the Pacers because the Cavs have some offensive limitations, like that were kind of had some light shed on them against that series against the Knicks. So I
Mhm.
think I'd take the Pacers in that series as well.